Over the last 15 years, Team Suzuki Australia has collected 8 Australian Superbike and Supersport championships, and they continue to field bikes in both classes. Now, as the sport evolves, so does Suzuki's involvement. I sat down with General Manager Perry Morrison to talk about the current and future directions of racing in Australia. Perry, Team Suzuki is a championship-winning team, but what's even more impressive is that you allowed your lead rider to miss the first round.
That's true, Bryony, and that was a big decision to make, but ultimately we're about success for our riders and developing an international career. If they have the capability and the desire and they're prepared to commit, then we see part of our role is to bring them through the Australian system and do our best to present international racing opportunities. That's what we did with Josh Waters this year when we managed to secure a ride with Yoshimura Suzuki in the first round of the World Superbike Championship at Phillip Island.
Suzuki continues to support racing even during tough economic times. With new models continually being introduced, how do you stay on top of the game?
Well, it is challenging. I won't shy from that, but I do think personally that it's very important to have a consistency of our brand presence out in the marketplace. I think it's sometimes very difficult for all manufacturers to stay heavily involved in all areas of the industry, including racing, but we see racing as a vital part of our promotional activity. So it's important to us that we continue to compete and contest, put our product on display out there in the toughest of environments. And it's also important that we give our Suzuki fans a great opportunity to come to the local racing at this national level and have fun and work with us and enjoy being able to talk to the riders and the team personnel one-on-one, get up close and have a great time. We think that's really important for our fans and our customers as well.
Well, speaking of fun, Darwin is a great event. The riders love it, and there's a great infrastructure around this event.
It's outstanding. I have to say that I was fortunate enough to be here last year for the inaugural year. It was a fantastic event. To have this relationship and the synergy between territory government, state government level, International Entertainment Group, the promoters, the industry, the manufacturers and all the race teams, where everyone's pulling in the one direction, is simply fantastic, and the local community support here is outstanding. We love coming up here to race. It's a great experience.
You've been in this game for many years and we've seen some fantastic riders come through Team Suzuki. Do you think we have another world champion in the making?
Oh, absolutely I do. I think that at this level of national racing, we give our riders every opportunity to learn all the appropriate skills to go racing and be successful on the world stage. And Australia, I'm sure, will continue to deliver many, many world-class riders. And out of that, I've got no doubt that we've got some future world champions coming up.
We hope so. Thanks, Perry. Good luck to your boys this weekend and for the rest of the championship. Well, it's time to go racing. It's upstairs to Ken and Kevin for race 1 of the Viking Group Australian Superbike Championship.
Well, opening race in the Viking Group Australian Superbike Championship here at Hidden Valley. Kevin McGee, I'm really looking forward to this one. Less than half a second covered the top 6 in regulation qualifying, less than half a second in Superpole.
Yeah, Ken, it should be a ripper, especially on this circuit, which is nice and tight and twisty around the back. Plenty of flow on top of that, but a nice long straight where they can take advantage of the drafting and just slip up the inside under brakes.
Well, can anyone beat Josh Waters? Top the timesheet in qualifying and in QBE Superpole. In the starter's hands now. Oh, looked to me like a bit of a jump there on the front row of the grid from Ben Attard. Be interesting to see what the race officials do with that. But he's got a great start. Looks like he's going to lead them into turn 1. No, Waters comes through underneath. And Stouffer.
Stouffer up the inside and ran it wide out high. Both of them went out and
looks like Attard's gone through. He's got the Aprilia back in front. Stouffer's gone back to third. Waters in second. It's musical chairs on each corner, but an Aprilia leads the opening.
Up the inside.
Oh, it's all happening mid-pack. I got my eyes on Ben Attard. I'm shocked I haven't seen Aprilia lead an Australian Superbike race for so long. Isn't this thrilling for the Trinder brothers team? They'll be on pit wall looking at the super screens here, but it's Waters with the pressure on. Looks like Allerton's got into third, then the two team Honda racing machines of Stouffer and Maxwell.
Yeah, Stouffer and Maxwell pretty much on the tail of the lead group there in 4th and 5th. Can see them there. They don't want the lead group to get away any further, so Maxwell's trying to go with them right now, and teammate Stouffer run with him too.
17 laps around this circuit in conditions that would try the most fittest of athletes. Mid-30-degree temperatures, humidity up in the 90s. On to lap 2 now, and Waters unleashes the power of that Suzuki. 210 horsepower at the rear wheel.
Yep, Allerton up inside. of Attard there in second, so keeps a nice and tight line too with the tight entry.
Let's have a look on the Carlton Dry replay as they head into turn one. Look at the braking on Allerton's BMW. Gets the rear wheel off the ground there with the weight transference. These guys, Kevin, would they be using much rear brake at all?
No, you hardly use it. If anything, you use it more to settle a bike in the corner rather than in a straight line, because as you say, the bike really has the back wheel off the ground for the most part of high-speed braking, or not really got much traction on the ground at all, and as soon as you get into the back brake, the back will start chattering.
Yeah, so more of a steadying thing. We've noticed in World Superbike and in Grand Prix racing, some riders actually operating the rear brake with their thumb. Haven't quite seen that in Aussie Superbikes yet.
No, started by Mick doing years ago with the injury to that right ankle, and not a bad idea either, and works good for a lot of riders.
Josh Waters helps his braking by using the Valentino Rossi style of hanging the leg out in the breeze. They reckon it helps balance the bike or help the rider get a bit more control. Look at the onboard here on Jamie Stouffer's bike. Tell you what, he might be in a straight line, but the bike's not actually going straight, is it?
No, they're moving around a bit bumpy up there too at Eden Valley, but he's got the move made by the look of that.
Riders complimentary about this 2.9k circuit. Of course, the Superbike Circus coming to Darwin. It looks like Troy Herfoss rejoining the track, so didn't quite catch what happened to him there, but he's A-OK as Wayne Maxwell carves underneath the Aprilia of Ben Attard. I was just sort of about to say how the riders love this circuit here. They love coming here, and of course the Northern Territory Government and the Darwin City Council welcoming the Superbike guys in open arms and helping to bring this Viking Group Australian Championship to the top end.
Waters putting some really good laps together. You see there's nothing left there for him. Then it's Glenn Allerton on the BMW. He's got a safe second at the moment from Stouffer. And then his teammate Maxwell in fourth. So they've got enough laps to do something about the lead of Josh Waters, but they're going to have to get a move on.
It's interesting to see how the Hondas go, because they've got to get past these couple of riders to give themselves some open track to play with. It was interesting as we head into lap 4 to hear the Honda guys say down at Simmons Plains at the previous round, as we've got another Valentino Rossi replica further back in the field. That's Wayne Maxwell, so him and Josh Waters both adopting that technique. But the Honda guys saying their bikes lack punch out of the corners at Tassie, yet at one stage there we saw both of them set the fastest ever laps around the Simmons Plains circuit. So, you know, 1 minute they've got the fastest bikes on track, next minute they're concerned that they don't have the acceleration out of the corners to match the Suzuki.
Yeah, you really needed a Tassie with that slow hairpin at the end of the straight. And the long, fast drive around the right-hander down at Simmons Plains. So if you haven't got acceleration down there, you're going to get nailed out of that one every time. Waters still leads around the back of the circuit.
Oh, not good news for Team Suzuki. That's the second rider to go down. So that's Robbie Bugden on the Mack Trucks Team Suzuki GSXR 1000. We've seen Troy Herfoss already take a bit of an excursion. Well, no excursions at the moment for Josh Waters on the leading Team Suzuki GSXR 1000, but Kevin McGee must be a challenge for the team managers and the team technicians. Previous round, Simmons Plains in Tasmania, the most southern circuit they visit. Now they're at Darwin in the Northern Territory and Hidden Valley. Hugely different conditions, humid and hot versus cold and blustery. What's that do to the engine management and the setup on the bikes?
Yeah, at least they've got the electronics they can adjust it with now and the mapping, which makes it easier than playing with a box full of main jets and needles for the carbies. But it is still a challenge, and with the bumps around Hidden Valley as well, you know, suspension setup's critical, because around the back of the circuit you're always in some sort of corner or, you know, entry exit. So you need the bike to run well over the bumps. So you've got to basically change everything from one end of the country to the other.
Of course, in years gone by, it was all about more and more horsepower. Now it's about able to deliver the horsepower with a nice smooth feel on the throttle. That's where engine mapping comes in. Bridie's got Phil Tainton down in the pits. Let's get his view.
Yeah, the ECU mapping, we've pretty well pre-mapped before we come here. The system self-adjusts itself slightly for different altitudes and climates. In saying that, we have different map switches here that the guys can switch. So if we want to try a few different ignition mapping and such like out in the track, they can just go out there, flick it into a different map, as simple as that, on the fly, and then they can come back and give us the information and feedback. We also have on the other side here, we have a spin control, so they can. We've got 3 separate spin controls, as opposed to only 2 ignition and 2 fuel map controls on this side. So with the spin control, it's like an ABC thing. So the A is like pretty raw power, you know, it comes on pretty hard and gets a bit loose in the back end. And then we've got the next control, which is the B map. and it's a little bit more docile. We've got a C-map. It goes even more complicated to that, so we can monitor what gears we can run these maps in, and also how many cylinders we want to cut in that spin control. So it's technically quite advanced, but without it, with pulling like 230 odd horsepower out of the engine on this thing at 170 kilo, I wouldn't like to ride it without those controls.
How much of the adjustment is technical, and how much comes down to riders' personal preference out there?
Pretty much all of it's riders' personal preference. You know, like as far as technicians go, we just keep dialing with the computer and keep playing with the bike. But we've got to make it so those guys can ride it. You know, so there's other controls like back-end controls. We tell the computer on the bike how fast we want that rider to go into that corner. And if we push him in there too hard, he turns the throttle off, but it won't go off while the computer's telling the bike to keep going. So the faster we can push him into the turn, the higher his corner speed is, and the easier it is for him to get on the gas to come out of the turn. But if we push him in there too hard, well, you know what the end result's going to be. So, yeah, as technicians, we've got to be careful. We definitely listen to everything the rider's got to tell us, and really, that is our setup data, is the rider. And we just use all the data controls on the bike as reference to what the rider is telling us.
Well, things have changed a bit since you rode superbikes at the top level, Kevin McGee, where it was jets and needles and you told the technicians what had to happen. Now they dial it in with a computer. Pretty soon we'll have little dummy riders taped to the bike and little scale electric throttle grips back in the pits.
Well, I'm not going to go anywhere with the dummy riders, but yeah, I mean, it's good. It's just technology moving forward, and the end result, as Phil said, it's not about the amount of horsepower that you're looking for. It's how to control the output of that massive amount of horsepower.
Well, we've got two of the most powerful bikes in the field leading at the moment. Josh Waters on the Suzuki. Interesting to hear Phil Tayton drop the figure 230. He's been quoting 210 for the last couple of years, so they've been doing a little bit of work on the dyno. But the bike behind, Glenn Allerton on the BMW, arguably one of the most technologically advanced bikes in its standard production form. That and the Aprilia and the new Kawasaki ZX-10R. They've got different modes for power, different modes for traction control, all in standard form before they even modify them for superbike racing. But as you mentioned, Kevin, as Phil said, it's all about usable power. And the man that's making the most of his usable power at the moment looks like he's closing in on this leading duo, and that's Wayne Maxwell, the Wayne train.
Yeah, he's broken his teammate, and he's still close enough to make an attack before the end of the race. He wants to go with them. Be wishing his teammate Jamie Sofa could go with him as well to play with the BMW and the Suzuki, who's leading. But Allerton's still right there in second and pretty strong. But just noticed in those last couple of laps, both their bikes moving around quite a bit still, and Maxwell in third, skating it in to the right-hander on top of that. But we'll see how the gap goes for this lap. Waters around turn one, that was all right, nice line, and good drive out of there, looking pretty smooth at this stage. Good into the right-hander.
Well, a little over half race distance, the tyres have got to be getting hot now and beginning to skate around, but Waters keeping it smooth. Maxwell's the one that seems to be on the charge at the moment, a little bit looser than Waters through that corner. And Glenn Allerton on the Beamer sitting there in second place. But this circuit not as hard on tyres as a track like Phillip Island, where you can get temperatures in the side of the tyre up to 180, 185 degrees Celsius. Cook a steak on that, even though the air temperature much hotter here in Darwin, the track not as punishing on the rubber.
Yeah, a little bit skatey, so it's actually good fun for the riders because it's more of a test when you got a little bit less grip and the bike moving around a lot more. The race laps can actually be quite fun. Maxwell trying hard there. He's closed up on Glenn Allerton a little bit onto the straight that time, and the BMW probably got a bit more pace than the Honda down the straight, and definitely pulled away from him, even though Maxwell lost a little bit of speed with that wobble onto the straight.
Yeah, the foot goes out on Wayne Maxwell on the Team Honda Racing 5 He's closed right in now. Looked like the Beamer had a little bit more in top-end speed, but the Honda was getting out of the corner well, and certainly Maxwell a demon under brakes as he mounts a challenge now on the Procon Maxima Oils BMW of Glenn Allerton. Of course, Allerton, our championship leader, but Maxwell close in there, and there's nobody with more of a race face than Wayne Maxwell. He's got the dander up.
He's a bit of a demon when he gets out of bed in the morning until he goes back that night. Not only when he's got the visor down and chasing guys like Allerton and Waters. So he's right on him now. Now he's got to figure out where he's going to get Allerton, because there won't be many holes that Glenn Allerton will leave open where Maxwell will get past.
Yeah, probably one of the best passing places.
Look at Waters.
Oh. was going to say, one of the best passing places is up the inside under brakes, maybe down the end of the front straight or into the slow hairpin, but you've got to be close enough to mount a challenge without out-braking yourself. And you can see there the BMW just pulls away by a couple of bike lengths onto lap 11 of this 17-lap journey. Waters looks to have pulled it out by a couple of lengths now. Maxwell, though, mounting the challenge.
Yeah, you can't get him down the straight off the draft. The BMW's got too much power on Maxwell's Honda, but he can certainly go with him. He's going to have to attack somewhere around the back here, and it's going to happen. You know, it's Maxwell, and it's definitely going to be on for sure. And can he chase down Josh Waters out front, still leading on the Suzuki, leg down a little bit, just a half an effort there. But he's putting good laps together and not look like he's fading in the heat too much, either him or his tyres.
Well, he looks neat, doesn't he? Josh Waters, the 24-year-old from Mildura, and keeping it nice and precise. Quickest in qualifying, quickest in Super Pole, fastest ever lap around this circuit.
Well, Maxwell getting out of shape a bit. Tighter line through there too, using a little bit less track than Ellerton, trying to make it that way. You can see the different entry into there to set up for the run down the straight.
Meanwhile, Waters continues to move away. Words come through. It's a new
Maxwell,
lap.
look at him go.
Oh, he's in the draft now. Can he do something under brakes this time? The BMW just pulls it out by a couple of lengths when they get in the second half of the straight, but this time with the draft up the inside, that is a perfect block pass, isn't it?
Not yet, it's not. He hadn't made it around without one and wide, but he's got it done. Good job, Maxwell. Now, can he break away?
Let's have a look at the Carlton Dry replay from the onboard on Wayne Maxwell's Honda. Is up the inside, and as you said, Kevin McGee, it's all very well to go past up the inside. You've got to keep it tight and neat to get round the corner. So as we saw on the opening lap, a couple of the riders there running wide and opening the gap. But Maxwell now clear track ahead. Can he hunt down Josh Waters on the Suzuki? Words come through. Waters has a new lap record. So he came into this meeting holding the lap record from 2010. He set a 107.269 on lap 3. That is an amazing time. He's top qualifying, top Super Pole. Now he's got a new lap record. He's 1.7 seconds quicker than the V8 Supercar lap record around this circuit. That is honking.
That is honking, and that's why he's got the wildcard ride at Phillip Island, and then again in the middle of the year over in Salt Lake City in Utah for the World Superbikes. And that's great to see those wildcard entries coming back into World Superbike, because it used to be a lot, then they've sort of faded away. Hopefully this is the start of a lot more exciting national riders giving it to the world guys.
Oh, he just looks so neat and precise, doesn't he? But that 1.7 seconds quicker than a V8 Supercar, just imagine that down the front straight. Close your eyes for a minute, count 1.7 seconds. How big a gap's that at 300 kilometres an hour?
Yeah, that's massive. It's probably about 150 metres. So it's a good spot. 300 k's, about 83 metres per second, I think. At that, look at Waters still driving hard, and he'll be getting on his pit board that Maxwell's closing the gap, but he's got to keep the hammer down, so because if Maxwell gets anywhere near him, you know he's going to attack.
They must be getting tired now. Into the last few laps of this track, we've constantly spoken about the temperature, the humidity. It's tight and twisty round the back. Troy Herfoss was saying he finds it really challenging on a superbike. It's so physical around the back part of the circuit. The front straight, you'd think you'd be able to get a bit of a breather, but you've got to brake from 300 kilometres an hour down the front chute down to 90 kilometres an hour, down to second gear for this corner here. How precise have you got to be with your braking to knock off 210 kilometres an hour?
Again, that's the thing with the high-speed braking. If you miss your braking marker by, you know, a couple of tenths of a second, you're going to be off the track at the end. That's the difference it makes, and that's why they've got to not lose their concentration as the laps wind down. With Waters with a good lead, he's got to keep the hammer down.
Such a challenging part of the circuit, even down the front straight when you've got to brake at that speed. You can just see the bike beginning to move around a little. We haven't seen that in the earlier laps. Waters has been precise, but he's still precise, but the tyres can only grip so much. They're on Dunlop control rubber, the N-Tech slicks, slightly grippier than the tyres they used last year. They were on control rubber last year. They've just gone to a more grippier type of control rubber, because they've got so much horsepower.
And that's why I've seen Josh Waters just set that lap record, break that lap record a few laps ago. So Dunlop doing the work there with the N-Techs for sure. And he's still at it. Maxwell hadn't been able to drag him back in too much, so Maxwell, has he got enough to respond?
Well, only 2 laps left to run. They're on lap 15. It's a 17-lap journey. Yellow flag out, so not quite sure what that's for, but something's happened down there at turn 1 with the yellow flag being waved.
Maxwell's off, so Maxwell trying too hard down the end, and it's on the side, so something's gone on there for Maxwell. Picks it up. I guess the slicks on the grass don't have much traction, so he's down in the boonies there.
Let's hope he can get it started. Points so important. If he can at least get to the checkered flag, he'll pick up some points. Waters, though, that's the pressure off our race leader.
Look at him skated over the bump, back wheel off the ground sideways, in over there. So he's still got the rhythm going. He'll get Maxwell's out on his pit board this time down the front straight there.
Daylight now between Josh Waters and our second place rider Glenn Allerton, who will have seen Maxwell exit stage right there down at turn 1. Interesting, Kevin, we were just talking about how challenging it is with your concentration.
You can see him out in the picture over there, so Maxwell's still there from Waters' on-board shot.
How you've got to be able to brake from 300 kilometres an hour to 90 kilometres an hour, go down 4 gears, and I guess Maxwell, he needed the win for the points, just trying a little too hard with a little over 2 laps to run.
Yeah, just obviously going for those extra points that Waters has got under control at the moment, and doesn't look like he's going to be threatened for this one, but you've got to do all the laps. Anything could go wrong like it did for Maxwell.
It's interesting that he hasn't backed off at all or started looking over his shoulder.
Maxwell pushing it.
Trying to get it started. Oh, that's got to be hard work in that heat when he's just done something like 15 laps, but looks like the Honda's not going to fire. So bad news there for the Wayne train. Looked like just got in a little bit hot, lost the front end, and down he went.
Yeah, unless something's gone wrong with it, but we'll get more on that later. Waters down over the line now.
Josh Waters coming through on that Team Suzuki GSX-R 1000, gets the last lap board, 2.9 kilometres left to run. Wonder if he's hearing all sorts of noises in the engine and thinking, oh, is that something wrong with the bike? Nervous times, but on the last lap, clear air between him and the second place rider. He just about coast to the finish line from there. What a clinical performance from the 2009 Australian Superbike champ.
Yeah, and in laps like this, it's easier to go as hard as you can than to back it off, because then as soon as you sort of back it off a little bit, it's just easy to make a mistake. Your concentration intensity slackens, and therefore you don't do everything in that rhythmic fashion that you do when you're on a mission on a lap. So better off to keep on it. You can see there again the back wheel coming down, only a couple of corners to go, and then he's down over the line.
Well, he's out by about 6 seconds. He's going to take an easy win here in the opening race in the Viking Group Australian Superbike Championship, round 3 here at Hidden Valley in Darwin. The team give him the thumbs up as he flashes across the line, so great result there. Brodie Waters down there cheering his elder brother on. And Josh Waters looks over the shoulder. Where are you, boys? Waves to the crowd. Congratulations, Josh Waters, with the win from Glenn Allerton on the Procon Maxima Oils BMW. Jamie Stouffer gets on the podium on the Team Honda Racing CBR 1000RR. Then it's Ben Attard on the Aprilia, top ride there. Craig Cox on the Privateer on the gas Honda racing machine. His teammate Cole Odendale, Troy Herfoss and Chris McLaren rounds out the top 8.
Jamie, congratulations, 3rd place. They're a bit of bad luck for your teammate, but you'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I did struggle a bit there, and yeah, I don't know what happened to Wayne. It's unfortunate that he had that off, but yeah, it sort of moved us up a place. But yeah, we've got a lot of work to do, and we need to get it sorted pretty fast.
Glenn, a good fight there for 2nd place.
Yeah, the start of the race was going pretty good for me. Made a few good passes, and sort of felt like I was going to go with Josh, and I was, sort of shadowing every move he made, but. After we got to like lap 9 or something, I just started spinning the back up really hard, and I tried changing the mode on the traction control to make it a bit easier, but he just got away before I knew it, and then it was just a struggle to the end of the race to try and finish with the grip that I had. So we'll go back and just change some settings and hopefully make the back of the bike grip a bit better so I can go with him.
When you're out that far but in front, how do you focus? What goes through your mind in these conditions?
Oh, the sweat's going in my eyes. That's what's happening out there. But yeah, I just kept trying to push. Each lap we have the lap board, so I just kept looking at that and kept thinking, far out, they got to give up. But yeah, good job by the other boys, and we'll look forward to next race.
Exactly. Take a rest before race 2. That is race 1 down. 2 more races to go, and when we return, we talk to series leader Glenn Allerton.
QBE presents the Viking Group Australian Superbike Championship, proudly brought to you by Motul and International Entertainment Group.